What is our consciousness? Are there different levels of consciousness? Is there a consciousness beyond the normal one we are aware of? And is it possible to empty the content of our consciousness? What is consciousness? Are there different levels of consciousness? Is there a consciousness beyond the normal one we are aware of? And is it possible to empty the content of our consciousness? Sorry. Please, we are sharing this together. I may use the words, the description, but what is described is not the fact. So don't be caught in descriptions, in explanations. What is our consciousness? To be conscious of, to be aware of what is going on, not only outside but also inside. It's the same movement. So when we say we are conscious, we are aware, our consciousness is the product of society, right? Our education, our culture, racial inheritance, and the inheritance of one's own striving, the result. And our beliefs, our dogmas, our rituals, our concepts, our jealousies, anxieties, our pleasures, our so-called love, all that is our consciousness, right? Right? That you cannot, nobody can dispute that. You can add more to it or expand it, but that is the structure which has evolved through millennia after millennia. Wars, tears, anxiety, sorrow, depression, elation, all that is part of us. Right? And the content, which is always, make up our consciousness. Right? Right, sir? You're following this? I believe I am a Hindu with all these Brahmanical superstitions, with their rituals, with their absurdities, with their gods, with their beliefs in this and that and the other thing. That is the consciousness of a Hindu born in their country. In the West, the consciousness is the content. The Christian, the Savior, the whole hierarchical system. The soul, the Redeemer, the original sin, and so on, so on, so on, so on. If you are a communist, you will say, according to Marx, environment, which is economy, has shaped your consciousness. And there are those people who say you can't change it. You can modify it. You can polish it up. But you have to accept it. Make the best of it, but it's there. You follow all this? And, as we said, the content makes its consciousness. Without the content, consciousness as we know, it doesn't exist, obviously. If I have no belief, no dogma, no this and no that. And the question of says, is it possible to empty all the content? Do you understand that? The sorrow, the strife, the struggle, the terrible human relationship with each other, the quarrels, the anxiety, jealousies, the affection, the sensuality, you follow? All that is our consciousness with its content. Can that content be emptied? And if it is emptied, is there a different kind of consciousness? And has consciousness different layers, different levels? In India, they have divided consciousness. Clever people they are, the ancient people, into lower, higher, higher, higher. I won't use the Sanskrit words and so on. It's divided. And this division is measurement. I don't know if you're following all this. Moment there is division, there must be measurement. Division between the Arab and the Jew, the Englishman, the Frenchman, is all measurement. And where there is measurement, there must be division and effort, wars, all the rest of it follow. Whether that consciousness has different levels, this consciousness is still within consciousness. I don't know if you follow it. It has been divided by thought, by clever people, by so-called people who have gone into this. It's been divided. That division is measurement, therefore it's thought. Whatever thought has put together is part of consciousness. Right? Whether you divide that consciousness as the higher supreme, it is still the movement of thought. Right? We agreed, we share, we are moving along together. Now the question is, can the content be emptied? Can sorrow be ended? Not only your personal sorrow, but the sorrow accumulated through millennia of mankind. The personal sorrow, I mean, the immediate sorrow. I've lost a son, I've lost this, or I'm not, the tears, the despair, which is momentary. But there is this vast sorrow of mankind, which has been accumulated through 5,000 or 10,000 years of wars, tribal divisions, tribal hatreds, the various aspects of religion, organized, not organized, those who believe, those who don't, and so on, so on, so on. Can all that be emptied? Must you take, please listen, must you take one by one and resolve them? You understand? Fear, conformity, pleasure, the nature of pleasure, the whole movement of pleasure, and sorrow. Can all that, will we take one by one and resolve these? That will take one's whole lifetime. I don't know if you're following all this. Or can one have a total insight into all that? You understood? We have explained what insight means. Not the insight of remembrance, not the insight of knowledge, time, and action. I wonder if you're following all this. I'm afraid you're not. Please don't meditate now. Don't go off into kind of this is very, very serious because it affects your life. And we say it is possible to empty this content completely. The essence of this content is thought which has put together the me. The me which is ambitious, the greedy, aggressive, all that. That is the essence of the content of consciousness. Can that me, with all this, structure, selfishness, all that, can that be totally ended? The speaker could say yes, it can be ended. Completely. Which means no center from which you are acting. No center from which you are thinking. The center is the essence of measurement, which is the becoming. Can that becoming end? And we say probably it can, but what is at the end of it? You understand? That is, if I end this becoming, what is then being? I wonder if you follow this. First of all, find out for your oneself if this becoming can end. Can you drop end something that you like, that gives you some deep pleasure, without a motive, without saying, I can do it if there is something at the end of it? Can you do something immediately and something that gives you great pleasure? See how difficult this is? Like a man who smokes, his body has been poisoned by nicotine. And when he ends, the body is craving for it. And so you take something else to satisfy the body. So, to give up to end something rational, clear, without any reward or punishment, just to say, finished. Selfishness hides in many, many ways. Seeking truth, social service, surrendering oneself to something, to a person, to an idea, to a concept. It also hides itself in social work, in devotion to nationalism, to God. Right? One must be so astonishingly aware of all this. And that requires energy. And that energy is now being wasted in conflict, in fear, in sorrow, in all the travails of life. That energy is being wasted in so-called meditation. And this requires enormous energy. Not physical energy, that's very easy. But the energy that has never been wasted. Then can go, consciousness can be emptied. When it's empty, if there is something more or not, it's up to you. We like to be guaranteed that. There's no guarantee.